I'm Kathryn Gustafson. I'm a landscape architect. I'm part of the firm Gustafson, Porter, and Bowman. Neil Porter and Mary Bowman are partners in this firm. We do design, basically landscape architecture, and some architecture if it's related to the landscape. I've been working for quite a few years in Singapore. It's a wonderful city. It's an extraordinary city. The Marina Bay is a central business district development, and it's on reclaimed land. And it's one of the things about Marina Bay, which a lot of people don't know, is that the rivers come down from the hills in Singapore, and they actually don't have enough drinking water. And so the amount of drinking water is really important. And so what they've done is they've built a barrage to hold the water from the rivers. And then they take that water and bring it up to the reservoirs at the top. And so that's what has changed the bay's ecology and the relationship to the bay, which is totally new and different than it was 15 years ago. The basic idea comes from a two-part piece. One is the URA, which is the Central Planning District of the Singapore, passed, I believe in 2009, a new law called 100% replacement. So if you buy a piece of land like this, you have to replace, and you want to put a building on it, you still have to do 100% replacement of the landscape. So it's one of the most progressive urban planning laws in the entire world. And you can thank URA for it. But more importantly, I think what Christoph Ingenhoven did with it is he created a building where he put a green heart in the center, but then he put green on second floor, third floor, fourth floor, 15th floor roof. And he integrated all the landscape throughout the building. Part of it was in response to the new planning, but it's just pure creativity also about what the Ingenhoven's architect's vision was for this building. That makes it very unusual. There's two ways to describe a green building. One is what we call the sustainability green. And so it's all the materials that are being used. Are they recyclable? Are they recycled? Are they local? It's about how much energy is used to produce that building and the materials producing it, how much of those are able to be recycled after its life cycle is over. So that's what we call a green building. It's not necessarily green in color, but it is green environmentally. The other, I think, on this building, when people say it has green in it, it has vegetation in it, and that adds to that sustainability. So I don't think adding green to a building is necessarily good in any climate or any environment or any situation. It has very much to do with where it's being built, what's its use, what is its potential to survive, and what its maintenance regime is going to look like. In Singapore, things grow very well. And so it's one of the places that's the most adapted to have integration of vegetation within the building structure. I think that the city planning of Singapore, of the URA of 100% replacement, should be the gold standard worldwide. I think that we're watching the problem with global warming. We're watching the problem with really tough weather. How do we start to address the bigger problem of that? And yeah, we need to stop global warming, but in between time, we need to do everything we can to make that less. And so that's heat sinks, that's water, it's the whole gamut of things. And so the more you can make an environment healthy and self-sustainable, the more you're going to be helping that problem. We've been building plants inside of conservatories for, centuries. And I think this is different in that I'm working with, Ingenhoven architects and other architects, teaching and getting them to understand that plants need an environment to live in. And so they basically 4 basic things, right? They need light, water, air, soil. And so you have to have all 4 of those or the plant won't grow. So as they plan their buildings, it is so important that they get all 4 of those pieces together. And this building, by opening the center of it, allowed light to come into it. Whereas if you had made that smaller, then the light access would be less. Also, it's allowing air through it. And they really gave a big, thick layer of soil. There has to be the intention to have plants from the beginning so the infrastructure is built right. Plants are in different categories. So this is called a tropical category. It has a certain humidity, it has a certain temperature range. So then if you go to what we call subtropical or Mediterranean, it has less humidity, it has less water, it has shorter days, longer days, it's amount of sunlight. It's really a certain environment, only certain plants grow. So no, I can't take a plant from England, put it in Singapore and have it grow, no. But it's hard to be totally local in Singapore because some of it's reclaimed land, but everything is from basically the region, because it's from regions that, grow it. Now, it was really interesting how we're working with the plants. We have a nursery in Singapore. I don't know if you were able to go see it. It's fantastic. So we've put the plants in close to their ideal where they're going to grow in this project for 3 years, which is really important because the shock of moving plants and that many plants, you want to get them as close to the future environment as possible before moving them. It's never going to be the illusion of nature. It's being in nature and being among natural things, natural pieces. It is an artificial environment. Now, it has pathways through it, it has guardrails, it's got lighting, but it's bringing as much as you can of a natural feel, and also just the wonder of plants. Just the beauty of them and having the flower and the odors and the textures. All that is a very rich environment to bring to a building. It adds a whole different layer of experience. Also, the fact that we've brought, pools of water that reflect light, and then we have waterfalls that bring that sound into it. So it's a multi-dimensional landscape. It's the motto of Singapore that they are a city in a garden. And you've been there, you see it everywhere. The Parks Department has more power in that city than any city I've ever seen in my life. They form the city. They form how it feels. Even along the roadsides, there's like 5-meter planting areas. Everything's given to make it that really is a garden city. But it's a city in a garden. It's not the city has a garden. The city is subservient to the garden or the park of the city. There was a vision that was really worth, the time and the effort. I think it's the combination of landscape and architecture together that it's so integrated. It's really a new way forward. Having these louvers go up and the vegetation go up, and all this green and the water, and you have no hint of it from the outside. The fact that you come to this building from the outside and you don't know the surprise that's going to happen when you walk in. So it's this wonderful gift to the city. It's inspiring, and it's motivating.